reaching C1 English, that tells me you've already got, a taste for ambitious goals and the tenacity to see them through.
Absolutely.
Think about it, that level of mastery. It takes vision, serious dedication, and, well, a refusal to just stay comfortable.
It really does.
So what if we channeled that exact same energy towards aspirations that might currently feel, well, huge, colossal even? That's exactly what we're diving into today. The real nuts and bolts of thinking big.
Yeah.
And we're going beyond just vague ideas. We're talking about a concrete, actionable mindset, something designed to help you unlock your biggest dreams.
Precisely. And we've got a really stimulating piece of writing to explore today, an article called The Audacity to Aspire, Unlocking Your Biggest Dreams Through the Power of Thinking Big.
Okay.
Our aim really is to get under the skin of what thinking big truly means. Move past the abstract fluff,
Right.
and equip you with both a practical framework and some genuine inspiration to apply this powerful concept, whatever you're striving for. This article, it really gets into both the inner game, the mindset, and the practical steps.
Okay, let's dig into this whole idea then. Thinking big. It's a phrase we hear all the time, but like you said, this article makes a key point. It's definitely not just about indulging in wild, detached fantasies.
No, not at all.
So, at its core, what is it really about?
Well, what's fascinating here is how the article breaks it down into tangible elements. Firstly, it's about stretching the boundaries of what you think is possible.
Okay.
This means actively questioning those nagging doubts we all have. And even the accepted norms around us, the ones that whisper, oh, that's too far-fetched, or maybe someone like me can't achieve that.
Yeah, those voices.
Exactly. It's about realizing these are often self-imposed limits,
Right, those deeply ingrained assumptions. They can be incredibly powerful barriers, can't they?
They really can.
The article also highlights setting goals that genuinely challenge you. Not just small, incremental steps, but the kind of goals that, well, if you actually achieve them, would fundamentally transform your life. Or maybe the lives of others.
Exactly right. And that connects directly to the third element, a focus on impact and a strong vision.
Impact and vision, okay.
Yeah, people who think big, they're often motivated by this desire to contribute something significant, maybe to innovate or to tackle really meaningful problems. There's typically a powerful sense of purpose driving their ambitions.
A bigger why.
A bigger why, precisely.
Yeah.
Then there's the dimension of time. The article really underscores that truly significant achievements, they rarely happen overnight.
No quick fixes.
No. Thinking big requires adopting a long-term view and, crucially, a commitment to sustained effort, day in, day out.
Which, let's be real, can feel overwhelming sometimes.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's where the fifth component comes in, right? Resilience.
Yes, resilience. The article emphasizes that major dreams inevitably encounter major hurdles, big ones.
Makes sense.
It's not about trying to avoid those bumps in the road, because you probably can't. It's about how you respond to them.
Yeah.
See them as opportunities to learn and grow rather than, reasons to just throw in the towel.
Yeah.
The article even has this really concise line, big dreams inevitably encounter big obstacles. Simple as that.
That hits home. It's a crucial insight, isn't it?
It really is. So if we kind of synthesize these points like the article does, thinking big is fundamentally about giving yourself permission. Permission to envision a future that is substantially better, has a greater impact than maybe where you are now.
Right.
And then pursuing that vision with real determination, real resolve.
Okay, so we're starting to get a much clearer picture of what thinking big actually looks like in practice. It's more grounded than it sounds.
Definitely.
But what kind of mental bedrock do you need? What needs to be in place psychologically to really make this happen? The article gets into that too, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. It pinpoints several vital psychological attributes.
Yeah.
The first one is a growth mindset. This is the concept Dr. Carol S. Dweck is famous for.
Ah, yes, growth mindset. Heard of that.
Right. It's the core belief that your abilities, your intelligence, they aren't fixed things. They can be developed through dedication, hard work, learning from mistakes. People with this mindset, they tend to welcome challenges. They see effort as the path to getting better, to mastery. And they learn from criticism rather than being totally discouraged by it.
That resonates so strongly, especially when you think about chasing really ambitious goals.
Yeah.
Because you are going to face setbacks.
Guaranteed.
And if you believe your capabilities are just set in stone, well, it's easy to lose heart, isn't it?
Absolutely. The article mentions the opposite, the fixed mindset. That's where you assume your abilities are static, unchangeable. And that leads to this fear of failure, this tendency to shy away from challenges altogether. You just don't try.
Yeah, you play it safe. Okay, so growth mindset is number one. What else?
The second attribute is self-efficacy, which is essentially your confidence in your own ability to achieve goals and navigate obstacles.
Your belief in yourself, basically.
Pretty much.
Okay.
If you lack that core belief that, okay, I can figure this out or I can learn what I need to learn, then starting on a big, demanding journey becomes incredibly difficult, almost impossible.
I can see that. You need that foundational confidence.
You do. Following that is intrinsic motivation. The article highlights that while, sure, external rewards can play a role.
Like money or recognition?
Yeah, exactly. But the most potent fuel for those really grand ambitions comes from within. Your passion, your curiosity, your sense of purpose. That's what keeps you going when the external validation might be scarce or non-existent, especially early on.
That internal drive feels absolutely fundamental, doesn't it? Especially for those long-haul projects where you might not see immediate results for ages.
There's everything in the long run.
What other psychological elements does the article bring up?
It also discusses optimism. But, and this is a crucial qualifier, it's optimism grounded in realism.
Okay, so not just wishful thinking.
Not at all. It's not about ignoring potential problems or pitfalls. It's more about maintaining a belief in positive outcomes while still acknowledging the challenges ahead and having faith in your capacity to actually navigate them.
Right, like, this is going to be hard, but I believe we can find a way.
Exactly, that sentiment. And finally, there's future orientation. People who think big, they tend to focus more on the future they're trying to create, rather than being constantly dragged back by past limitations or current difficulties.
Looking forward, not backward.
Precisely. This forward-looking perspective, it really helps maintain focus on that long-term vision.
These psychological foundations, they really paint a picture of the inner strength, the conviction that fuels this kind of thinking.
They do.
Now, the article does something great here. It brings these concepts to life with some truly inspiring stories. Real people from across the globe. Let's start with Maria in Brazil. Her journey sounds incredible. From a favela to international advocate.
It truly is remarkable. Her initial big thought, as the article puts it, was actually quite focused. Simply to create access to books and a safe learning space for kids in her favela in Rio.
Wow.
Which, given the severe lack of resources and the pervasive violence there, that was already an incredibly ambitious goal.
Absolutely. Just doing that would be huge.
Right. And what's fascinating is how her English, which she painstakingly learned through free online resources and actually talking to tourists.
Resourceful.
Very. That English unexpectedly became her window, as the article says, to a wider world of support.
It's amazing how a skill like language can just unlock doors you didn't even know were there.
It really is. And her vision grew. It went from just a library to this idea of a comprehensive community center, offering skills training, health services, the whole lot.
It's a big leap.
Huge. And the article mentions she faced considerable skepticism. Lots of rejections when she first started reaching out to international NGOs using her English to communicate her mission.
I bet. People probably told her to scale back, be more realistic.
Exactly what happened. Many advised her just that. But she persevered. And now, her organization is a thriving hub. It has international partnerships. She speaks at global conferences.
Incredible.
But her key insight, which the article shares, is so powerful. She said that daring to dream beyond her immediate limitations is what opened those doors. And her C1 English, absolutely essential for that global collaboration.
Wow. Limited circumstances don't have to limit your potential.
Not if you have audacious dreams and maybe the proficiency to connect beyond those circumstances. It shows how dreams can create their own opportunities.
What a powerful example. How a big vision plus practical skills like language can lead to something extraordinary. Okay, then there's Chen in China, the tech innovator. His story sounds quite different.
Yes, very different context. Chen was a software engineer, stable career, good job. But he had this huge idea. Creating a personalized, high-quality edtech platform for millions of students in rural China, kids who lacked access to good schools.
Millions. That's ambitious.
Hugely ambitious. And his colleagues, highly skeptical. They pointed out the market difficulties, the logistics, the intense competition, all valid concerns.
It certainly sounds like a massive undertaking. Did he just ignore them?
Well, the article notes he dedicated 2 years, basically locked in his apartment, living off his savings, just coding, refining the vision, building the prototype.
Wow, dedication.
Serious dedication. And much like Maria, his advanced English played a really vital role. It let him research global ed tech trends, connect with international experts, and crucially, pitch his idea to foreign investors who could provide the necessary capital.
So again, English as a bridge to global resources.
Absolutely. And what's striking about Chen's story is the sheer scale of his thinking from the start. He wasn't just aiming for a small app. He envisioned an entire ecosystem, content, teacher training, support, aiming for national impact.
Go big or go home, basically.
Pretty much. And despite facing numerous obstacles, his platform is now a leading ed tech solution in China. It's impacting millions of students.
Amazing. And his insight.
His core insight, according to the article, the scale of your thinking dictates the scale of your action, and ultimately your achievement. Aiming for transformation led to a much greater result than if he'd aimed smaller.
Think at scale to achieve at scale. Got it. Okay, finally, we have Kwame in Ghana, a social entrepreneur in agriculture.
Yes, Kwame. His initial big thought was about transforming his rural Ghanaian community. He wanted to build a sustainable, profitable agribusiness to reverse the trend of young people leaving for the cities. Youth migration is a big issue.
Right, and I imagine he faced some resistance.
Oh yeah, significant resistance from the community. Many believe the existing way of life, the status quo, was just unchangeable. It's always been this way.
That's often the case, isn't it? Trying to disrupt established practices always meets pushback.
Always. But Kwame's vision evolved too. It expanded from just helping his own family's farm to creating a whole cooperative, using modern farming techniques, finding new markets.
And let me guess, English played a role.
You guessed it. Instrumental again. He used his proficiency to research international best practices in sustainable agriculture, to connect with equipment suppliers, and critically, to learn about export markets and regulations. He faced huge challenges, of course. Building trust within the community was tough, securing funding wasn't easy, and mastering those complex export regulations took time.
I can only imagine.
But today,
Okay.
his cooperatives is a major success story. They're exporting internationally, providing good jobs locally.
Fantastic outcome.
And his key takeaway. Thinking big means refusing to just accept the status quo. It means seeing potential where others only see problems, and then relentlessly, persistently working to realize that potential.
These three stories, so different, but they really highlight those common threads, don't they? Courage, resilience, and having that compelling why driving you forward.
Absolutely.
And for you, the listener, especially as someone who's already achieved C1 English, these examples should feel incredibly empowering.
They really should.
Because, as the article points out, you've already cultivated the discipline, the cognitive abilities needed to actually implement these think big strategies.
That groundwork is already done in many ways.
Exactly. So let's delve into those practical strategies now. The article offers a whole toolkit. We've seen what's possible with these stories. Now let's break down the how. How do you actually do it? Especially tailored for someone like you with that strong English foundation.
All right, let's get practical. The article frames this perfectly for someone at your C1 level. Strategy number 1 is challenge your limiting beliefs. The article calls it an inner critic detox, which I love.
Inner critic detox. Catchy. What does it involve?
It involves, first, identifying those negative thoughts, the ones that tell you something's impossible or you're not good enough, then questioning their validity, are they really true, and then actively reframing them into more empowering statements or maybe questions.
That makes a lot of sense, undermining that negative self-talk. And for C1 learners, the article suggests something interesting, analyzing the language used in English biographies or interviews, people who've overcome big challenges.
Yeah, it's a great tip. It's like learning to literally speak the language of possibility by studying how others articulate their journeys and overcome doubts.
Okay, strategy 1, detox the inner critic. What's number 2?
Define your Everest, your outrageously ambitious dream. The advice here is crucial. Dream without censoring yourself first. Just let it out. Then write it down in vivid detail.
Get specific.
Absolutely. The more concrete and vivid your vision, the more motivating it becomes, the more actionable it feels. And for C1 learners, the act of practicing, articulating this dream in English, writing it, saying it out loud, that really solidifies it and prepares you to communicate it effectively to others down the line.
Right, practicing your pitch, essentially. Okay, so define Everest. What's strategy 3?
Break down that Everest into manageable base camps. Think smaller, strategic, achievable sub-goals.
Ah, okay, chunking it down.
Exactly. This makes the huge overall objective feel less overwhelming, and it helps you build momentum, build confidence as you successfully reach each milestone, each base camp.
It's like that classic advice, isn't it? How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. For an aspiring journalist, maybe a base camp is getting their first article published somewhere.
Perfect example.
Ah.
Okay, the next strategy is quite intriguing. It's called the 10x rule.
The 10x.
Yeah, the article references Grant Cardone here. It suggests setting targets that are 10 times greater than what you realistically think you can achieve, and then taking 10 times the amount of action you believe is necessary.
Whoa. 10 times. That sounds intense.
It is intense, but the core idea isn't necessarily that you will always hit that 10x target. It's that by aiming so ridiculously high, you inherently achieve significantly more than if you'd set more conventional, realistic goals.
Right, it forces you out of your comfort zone in terms of ambition.
Completely. It compels you to think on a much larger scale and to be far more proactive in your efforts. However, the article wisely adds a caution. Balance this amplified ambition with realistic planning. You don't want to burn out.
Good point. It's about supercharging your ambition and effort, but not detaching from reality entirely.
Precisely. You don't want to set yourself up for guaranteed failure, but the principle of significantly stretching your targets and your actions.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Okay, 10x rule. What's number 5?
Seek out environments filled with big thinkers and find mentors, people who have already achieved goals similar to your own aspirations.
Surround yourself with the right people.
Exactly. Their mindset, their experiences, their advice, it can be absolutely invaluable. And for C1 learners, the article specifically recommends joining international online communities related to your goals and proactively reaching out for informational interviews using your English.
Right, using those language skills to connect globally. Your English is your passport to these networks.
Absolutely. Okay, strategy 6. Consciously embrace productive discomfort.
Productive discomfort.
Meaning,
Recognize that stepping outside your comfort zone is essential for any kind of real growth. Pursuing significant goals will inevitably lead to feelings of discomfort, uncertainty, maybe even fear. Learn to see this discomfort not as a stop sign, but as a positive signal that you're actually expanding your horizons.
it's like that feeling you get when you're pushing the boundaries of your language skills, right? It can be tough, challenging, but that's where the real progress happens. Exactly the same principle. Okay, number 7. Learn from failure and fail forward fast.
Fail forward.
Yeah, the article stresses reframing failure. Don't see it as the end. See it as valuable feedback. Adapt your approach quickly based on what you learned, and don't let setbacks totally derail your overall vision. Keep moving.
Makes sense. Failure is almost inevitable on big projects.
Especially when you're aiming high, it's part of the journey. The key is extract the lessons, adjust your course, and keep going. Strategy 8. Master the art of visualization, but, and this is crucial, pair it with consistent action.
So visualizing success is good, but not enough on its own.
Exactly. Regularly visualize achieving your goal, feel the success, but always pair that mental rehearsal with focused, persistent effort in the real world. Visualization fuels action. It's definitely not a substitute for it.
That's a really important distinction. You can't just sit and dream your way to success. You have to do the work.
100%. Okay, number 9. Cultivate unshakable resilience. Build that inner strength.
Easier said than done sometimes.
Well, the article outlines practical ways. Things like practicing self-compassion when you stumble. Maintaining a broader perspective is the setback really the end of the world. Focusing on the aspects you actually can control and prioritizing your overall fuel in the tank.
Right. Managing your energy is key for the long haul.
Totally. And for C1 learners, engaging with English stories of resilience, reading books, watching documentaries, listening to podcasts about people overcoming adversity that can provide both inspiration and actual linguistic frameworks for how to talk about and navigate hard times.
Learning resilience through language. Okay. What's number 10?
Commit to continuously expanding your knowledge and skills. Adopt what the article calls a learn-it-all approach, not a know-it-all one.
Stay curious.
Perpetually curious. And leverage your C1 English skills to tap into that vast global pool of information, courses, expertise. Your English is a massive asset here.
It really underscores how proficiency is a tool for growth in all areas, not just communication. Okay, 11.
Communicate your vision persuasively. Being able to articulate your dream clearly, passionately is crucial for gaining support, attracting collaborators or investors, inspiring a team.
You need to get people on board.
You do. And for C1 learners, the article suggests specifically practicing your elevator pitch in English, refining your persuasive language skills, maybe even considering joining English public speaking groups like Toastmasters.
Great practical tips, using those advanced skills strategically.
Exactly. Your English is a significant advantage here. Okay, finally, the 12th strategy. Stay adaptable and flexible.
Meaning,
While your big, overarching vision might remain constant, the specific path to achieving it, that might need to change, evolve, as circumstances change as you learn more. Avoid being so rigid in your plan that you miss new opportunities or fail to adjust to unforeseen challenges. The vision is fixed, but the path can be flexible.
that makes sense. Be stubborn about the goal, flexible about the methods.
You got it.
Wow, this toolkit provides such a practical, actionable set of steps for anyone looking to think on a grander scale.
It really does.
And it's so insightful how the article draws that direct line, that connection between achieving C1 English proficiency and having the essential qualities needed for this kind of ambitious thinking.
Yeah, that connection is truly compelling, isn't it? As the article points out, reaching C1 level English, that demands discipline, perseverance, the ability to handle complexity, long-term commitment.
Right.
All qualities that are also absolutely fundamental for pursuing big dreams. In a way, your linguistic achievement is proof. It's a testament to your capacity for significant accomplishment already.
That's a fantastic way to frame it. You've already done something big.
Exactly. And the article really emphasizes how the very act of learning a language like English to such a high level, it naturally broadens your perspectives. It exposes you to different cultures, different ways of thinking, and ultimately it just opens up a wider spectrum of possibilities in life and work.
Yeah. By mastering English, you've already plugged yourself into a global network. You've gained access to a wealth of information that wasn't available before. You're positioned to operate internationally if you want to.
Precisely. The article uses a powerful analogy. Think of your English proficiency as like a high-performance vehicle, a really capable car.
Right.
Thinking big is like choosing an extraordinary destination for that vehicle, one far beyond the usual familiar routes. And the skills you hone getting that C1 English, the analytical thinking, the communication finesse, the resilience you developed pushing through learning plateaus. Those are the very skills that will help you navigate the challenging terrain on the road to your most ambitious goals. It's the same toolkit applied differently.
That's a great analogy. Your English isn't just the destination, it's the vehicle for future journeys.
Well put.
So, okay, we have the vision, we have the mindset, we have the strategies. But the article also makes it clear, doesn't it? Thinking big is just the starting point. It's the action that follows that matters.
Oh, absolutely critical. That sustained strategic action is what ultimately transforms those grand visions into tangible realities. Thinking isn't enough.
Right.
The article encourages you to make it a daily practice. Just ask yourself, what small step, no matter how tiny it seems, can I take today to move closer to my big dream? Consistent small steps add up.
Keep the momentum going even if it's slow.
Exactly. And it acknowledges, look, moments of doubt, feeling tired, feeling overwhelmed, they're inevitable. It's going to happen.
For sure.
And during those times, it's vital to reconnect with your core why. Why did you start this in the first place? And maybe revisit those inspiring stories we talked about, Maria, Chen, Kwame, to remind yourself what's possible.
Yeah, draw strength from that purpose and those examples. And it's so important to remember, as the article reminds us, that you, the listener, you've already demonstrated an incredible capacity for growth. Just look at your journey to English mastery. That same determination, that same ability to learn, to adapt, to push through difficulty, that can be applied to any ambitious goal you set your mind to. You've got the track record.
You really do. The final encouragement from the article is powerful, I think. It's an invitation. Combine your hard-won language skills with the audacity to think on a truly grand scale.
Don't play small.
Don't play small. Don't allow past limitations or maybe current circumstances to define your future potential. Embrace the discomfort that inevitably comes with ambition. Leverage the immense power of your advanced English. And dare to pursue the biggest dreams you can envision for yourself. Because, as the article suggests, the world really does stand to benefit from your unique talents and your unique vision.
That's a powerful closing thought from the source. So as you, our listener, navigate this week, maybe reflect on this deep dive. What's one limiting belief you've been holding on to, maybe unconsciously, that you can actively challenge now?
Good question to ponder.
Or maybe, What's one concrete base camp you can define this week for that biggest dream of yours? That first step on the path up your Everest.
Yeah, make it real.
We're genuinely excited about the journey of audacious achievement you might be embarking on, or maybe continuing with renewed focus. It really does feel like your story is just beginning.